Tosan, no. No.
I like the song.
Absolutely no. Brilliant. Okay, guys, welcome to this fresh episode of Nolly Classics. And today, we'll be doing something different from what we did last week. Today, we'll be talking action. Okay, guys, welcome to today's episode, and then we'll be exploring action for today. And the title of our movie is Silent Night. Apparently, Silent Night, Holy Night. I think they played in the movie at the point.
Holy night, oh, silent night, talking about a night.
Well, creativity for them then. So let's run through the movie. The movie started off with an introduction to the main character, Black Arrow, played by Segun Arinze. He was the leader of a deadly gang that terrorized the entire Ajegunle at that point in time. So the gang was made up of 3 persons, Black Arrow being the leader. We also had his girlfriend. So they say behind every successful man there's a successful lady. Nobody and Clyde, yeah. So we also had Sparkle, his sidekick. The 3 of them terrorized the entire jungle, like I said. So the movie starts off with a robbery scene where the 3 of them went in to rob a man and a family. They murdered all of them, all the members of the family, in cold blood, and stole the car. We later realized that the man they murdered was related to Black Arrow. The man was his family friend, and the man literally ripped them off everything entitled them from their father after the death of the father. So it was like a revenge for Black Arrow. Okay, so the next day we see them trying to bargain and sell a car that they actually acquired illegally, stole. And the bargain went toss and forth until they got to a point that they agreed to a certain sum. So the car dealer went on to bring a bag of money to pay for the car after they had agreed. They followed him smoothly behind him and then they shot him. So this whole process they reviewed to us, someone was watching the entire scenario. And to our greatest surprise, the next scene we saw the person with them gisting, dining, smoking, doing all sorts. We realized that this character called Stanley was from a wealthy home but craved for adventure. So he wanted to feel among with Ajegunle guys. He grew up in Ikoyi and was yearning to be with this Ajegunle guy. He eventually got it and was part of the crew. But he wasn't part of the armed robbery part. He just discovered, but he kept on keeping the relationship, being that he still wants to be very notorious. So after their hangout that day, went back home to Ikoyi to his parents. He got home pretty late, and then his mom was curious as to where he's coming from. She stopped him and asked him where he was coming from. He said he went out to hang with friends and all. But his mom realized that there was something strange and told him to come close. So while as Stanley walked close to his mom, she realized that his eyes were red. He had gone to smoke Igbo. So he tried, the mom was furious. Where are you coming from? What is all this? It's unlike you. He managed to convince her. But she was not convinced, so she had to go to his room to search, just like our parents used to search our room back then. So she searched, checked through every nook and cranny, and then she found 20,000 naira note, cash, far back in the 90s. And then asked him, how did you get this money? She also found a pack of cigarettes, and then she was curious to what was going on. He shoved it away by, I got it from my friend. My friend seeking visa to travel abroad gave me the money to hold as he was going for an interview the next day and blah, 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 blah. Gist, plenty gist, live into that. Rich kid. So the mom was like, I'm still suspecting you, but I'll let this pass. So the next scene opens up to show us Stanley in an intimate position with Ruth. So Ruth is the sister to Black Arrow. Black Arrow, the notorious gang leader. And we realized that there was chemistry between these two. They were gisting, and then she was so curious as to why he's with her brother, the notorious nigga in Ajegunle, coming all the way from Ikoyi. What's up? And then he opened up to her and said, oh, that he really craves to have adventure, that he's so bored with the whole Ikoyi, live in the house, don't go outside and play, everybody minding their business, that he lost the hood. And then we also got to find out that he also was with them so that he can easily scale through school, because they're the bad guys in school, and then they controlled lecturers. They intimidated lecturers to make them pass and all of that. In the process of them discussing, we realized the chemistry, they were getting closer. Then all of a sudden, Black Arrow walks in and meets them in that position. So he literally went after Stanley, grabbed him, pushed him to the wall, brought out the gun, and then threatened the living daylight out of Stanley. My nigga was afraid. To come back to Ikoyi, then we see his mom complaining to his dad about the whole scenario, that she found this, she found that, His dad was so uneasy. And then when he got back, the father literally warned him that if you are involved in anything that has to do with armed robbery, I will literally send you personally to jail, and I'll be the one that will sign it. He threatened him. Afterwards, his brother Vincent also called him aside and said, what is he doing with these guys? He's supposed to not get himself involved with bad company, and he's from a very good home, well trained, and then all of that. So all of these things created conflict in his heart. He decided to walk up to Black Arrow to tell him that he was no longer interested in the entire thing, and then he was going to pull out. But he went in form of an advice. Oh, what do you think I should do? Bad guy who wants you to go. You ain't walking nowhere. You're with us, you're with us. And then he gave him the speech of his life. As in, if you hear the lines, in fact, just listen to the lines.
You said that before. And I did not see any reason why I did not tell them the truth. You know, my sister, she knows. My mom, she knows. The whole area knows that I am a hard man. It keeps them in check. See, I'm the king of my life. The prince of the area.
You can imagine. So afterwards, Stanley went back home. His father threatened him again. Oh boy, if you are into armed robbery, just know I will personally sign your death warrant. They say, Piki we no alarm papa sleep. Himself no go sleep. In the process of their conversation, Stanley saw a gun inside the father's drawer. What is a chief judge doing with a gun? I don't know. He saw the gun and then he got so curious. After the father left the room and all, he snuck in and then picked the gun and then off back to Ajegunle where he had been warned. So he got there, he showed them the gun, and his fellow gang members were impressed. You were talking about leaving very soon and then you're already coming back to us with the gun. That means you want to go to the next level. In fact, let's go and have a party with the gun. They all went out. As they went out, they got to a spot and they were like, oh, let's do something. Let's rob here. So in the process of robbing, they were about to rob a car. And the car drove in, stopped, brought the person out. And then they started intimidating everybody. And then they realized that the person they stopped was Vincent, his elder brother. Immediately saw Vincent, he was startled. He didn't know what to do. So the whole process, he was thinking, my brother warned me against this, and then he's actually even seeing me. And this is my first day. You know, when you go and steal for the first day and everything just begins to go wrong. That was what was happening to him, and so he was frozen in the spot. Sparkle came and saw what was happening and then shot him. He's already used to it now, it's something I do every day. He just shot Vincent immediately and Vincent died on the spot. So they all ran away and got back to their hideout, and then, so when they got there, they realized Stanley was not himself, and they started talking to him. They talked and they realized that the person they killed was Stanley's elder brother, Vincent. At that point, they knew that they had messed up, so they had to lay low for a while. Stanley had to go back home, wasn't visiting as much. Black Arrow and the other gang members had to lay low. They were not doing any operation for a while. So the town was in panic. A high court judge's son was just killed. The police everywhere was alerted. So everywhere across the metropolis, there was deep investigation. obviously things will begin to leak. They found out the mother of weapon. They also found out the hideout of these gang members. They went there, they raided, and they caught Julie and Sparkle. On their way out, they intercepted Black Arrow. Black Arrow was walking in, and then there was an exchange of bullets. They caught Black Arrow, but he escaped. So they were just left with Sparkle and Julie. They took them to the police station, and then the normal way, they tortured them, bowling ring, iron, everything. and then they confessed. Funny enough, it wasn't Julie that confessed. Strong woman. It was Sparkle. Sparkle confessed that there were actually 4 of them and not just the 2 of them. And Black Eye was involved. And then the youngest son of the High Court judge. So they went back to the house to meet the High Court judge to explain what was going on. And the man willingly gave him his son. He said, come and carry him and go. The mother cried, rolling everywhere. Nothing. Go with him. Take him away. So the policemen took him away. The next thing took us to court where they were addressing the case. And then Stanley, Julie, and Sparkle were sentenced to death by firing squad. That was the main thing. And any Black, Shinorambo and all those guys back then, they were killed by firing squad. So firing squad was the main thing for deadly criminal. And guess who signed it?
Papa Stanley.
Stanley father is a man of his words. He warned him, and then he finally signed it. So he was to face firing squad. The mother wailed and cried, losing 2 sons. And did they bury them after firing squad? They did. It's not like the Chinese that they burn bodies. Guess what? Black Arrow witnessed the whole execution, and they couldn't identify him. He was there and watched the execution happen. And then the movie came to a sad close, or the sad finish. So now you crying. So, up to our what we did thinking. So, in Silent Night, we picked out this funny scene. Man, I told you Black Arrow has lines, and I really just listen to this. Listen to this.
But I don't want to miss you and all your people. I mean, you guys have done a lot for me. For instance, my exams. I want to be close to you.
You talk like a poet, man. You want to be close to me? Then you've got to be a hard man. Q-E-D. Listen, you're not a girl, and I am not a homo. You dig?
Okay guys, I'm sure you really enjoyed this episode, although it was a sad ending. But fine, we're reviewing movies. If you didn't like this episode, say something. Also, if you liked this episode, also say something down in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to hit the notification button and also subscribe to this channel. Next week, there will be another episode. So until then, it's bye from me, Creative Ned, and from Tosan behind the camera. We'd say, stay curious.